Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back. Uh, man, I hope everybody's having a good week. I know I missed last week. I it was the 4th of July week, so we were. I'm not. I didn't. I wasn't like hungover or anything. Just enjoying family time. So sometimes you gotta take some time off. And I did that. It is hot today, and even with the AC on. Yes, it's hump day. We are halfway through the week, which is a good thing. Like, it's good because most people are off. Hey, Megan. I see my daughter is here. So I am happy. Again, if you are here, just say hi. Let me know you're here because that's the only way I know that you are here. And let me know how your week is going. No, you didn't do it because you didn't want me. She always thinks I'm conspiring against her. That's not why I didn't do it, because I didn't want her in it. She was home last week, so she thinks that I purposely didn't do it because she was home, which is not true, even though she's not 21, so she don't need to be whining down. But I'm going to go ahead and get to this wine because I've been waiting on this one, and we are finally out of rosé month. But I said I was gonna do my nails pink the whole month of July in honor of the Barbie movie coming out. And yes, that's a big part of my childhood because I had Barbie everything, which I loved. And then I had some Barbies that were hidden from me because I had you can cider down. I had too many Barbies, which I don't think is a thing. Like, no girl can ever have too many Barbies, especially when you got cousins that come over, boy cousins, and they do mean things to your Barbies, like decapitate them. Yeah, so there's never such thing as too many. So yeah, but I am gonna go ahead and pop open the wine. I've got a Pinot Noir, and this one is 13.1, so it's got a little something too. And it is from Sonoma County. Look how pretty she is. Oh, I love a good wine. And again, I'm starting to like the whites. I am starting to like them. And they are a little more upbeat because I don't want to go to sleep like I do with my red wines. See how easy that came out? Such a good cork. And I am going stemless today. Look at that. I'm not really a big fan of stemless wine glasses, but I know people that do like them, and they are trendy, so I figured I'd, get me a 1 or 2 or 3 or so. Let's see. Yes, I'm going back to the legs. I know we had a discussion about the legs the last time. They hang really well. So yeah, it's really pretty. You guys, but you know what? This is the first week I've had in a while where everything worked right. My phone connected properly to the TV. Man, I remembered to turn off my alarms. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. Check me out, having a good week. But let's taste this wine. It smells nice. It smells really nice, actually. It's not bad, but it's not. I don't know. It's got this aftertaste. I think that's what's getting me. It's got an interesting aftertaste. It's not terrible. Like, I'd finish the glass. I'm not saying I would pour more of it. I'd finish the glass, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite. And we know I love wine. But no, I'll finish the glass. I'm not going to pour any more, but it's cool. Man, what else is going on? Oh, Beyonce is officially touching down for the US part of her tour, and I am really excited. The more that she puts out, like, the pictures, the more video I see, the more excited I get. Can't wait for September. So this is really exciting because she is out there just really, man, she's putting people to shame. Like, if you are not performing at that level, figure out how to perform at that level so that way you can put Beyonce ticket prices on your ticket sales. Because if you've never seen her in concert, you must go to this one. Like, you got to figure it out. Man, the visuals are insane. Like, she is really out there killing it. And I am so excited to be, man, I'm so excited. All I keep thinking about is, okay, gotta go. I'm always listening to her music anyway, so it's not like something where it's just like, but it cracks me up when I see people in the audience and they're just like, they don't know the words to her songs. It's like, huh. But I will admit, I actually used, so I have Tidal. And for some of her songs, I've had to look at the lyrics because I was singing my own words and not her words. So now that I know her words, I can sing her words at the concert instead of, adding my own little twist on this. Yeah, the Yana mix. But, we ain't gonna go there because then she might, be a little upset with me for not singing her song. But no, I'm definitely excited for, September to come. So that way I can take all that in yet again. But I know I have a lot of friends that are going and they're excited. I believe my cousin, hey Naya, welcome. I believe my cousin is going. Oh my goodness. Is going. She's in Philly, so I believe she's going tonight. So I'm gonna have to catch up with her and see how that one went. So, I can kind of be mentally prepared because I heard, I don't know if it's true, but that's why I'm gonna find out, that she switched it up a little bit for the US and gotta make sure. So my daughter is obsessed with trying to go to the Drake concert, and I told her she can't say it's a must for her until she finishes watching Insecure, and then we can talk about her going to see Drake. But she got to understand the symbolism of the whole Drake connection. But we gonna see. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. I am working on some really fun content, a little more, because I notice a lot of people, they ask me questions, like I'll get messages, oh, what is this word? What is that word? So I figured I'd do something a little fun and kind of, I guess, education-wise, with the verbiage of the wine world for people that want to, sound a little snobby when it comes to wine. So I'm going to be working on that. Actually, tonight, this girl so dramatic. She just said, I'll die if I don't see Drake. We're going to keep moving on. You'll be fine. But no, I'm going to work on that because we all have to be a little snobby when it comes to our wine. But no, it's all in fun. And I'm going to start working on that tonight and uploading over the course of, the next couple of weeks or so. But yeah, there's been I thought I put you on Do Not Disturb. Why the hell are you on? Okay, well, now it's on Do Not Disturb. Yeah. Yeah. And fireworks are going off. It's not even dark and fireworks are going off. Insane. And it's after the 4th of July, but whatever. Are the Dodgers playing tonight? Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to dive right into this topic. It's this has been one that's been weighing heavy on me, I want to say, for the last school year. So all 2022, 2023 school year, it's kind of been a big deal to me. Not a home game, I don't think. Oh, they don't care. They'll set off fireworks whether they play away. If they win, they're going to set off fireworks for the Dodgers. Lakers when they play, things like that. So they don't care. If it's a firework left and somebody won and they from the hometown, they're going to let them go. But this one it's been weighing heavy on me because you just kind of notice. So basically the zero tolerance policy in schools. It was adapted back in the late 1980s, where it doesn't matter. So how they define it as zero tolerance policies require schools to suspend expel students for violating rules, no matter what extenuating circumstances there might be. I personally have always felt like that is the dumbest thing, because especially if you dig deeper into what the situation is, there should always be some kind of leniency for situations. It shouldn't be, oh, well, those are the rules. This is what the consequence is. It's not a one size fit all type situation. However, this is what schools do to make people feel safe, I guess, and it really doesn't help anything. In fact, with the 62% of US public schools that have adopted the zero tolerance policy or mandatory penalties, they said that it remains higher in middle and high school more than elementary schools. However, elementary schools that are in more urban areas, they have a higher zero tolerance policy rate as well. So when you look at the area that you live in, does your school have that? So yeah, but there are several research studies that reveal that the zero tolerance discipline at schools doesn't make it safer, but it forces kids to want to have to drop out. They've also said that it's targeted more towards minorities than it is towards the latter. I'm trying to be a little more politically correct right now, but apparently California funds this policy more than any other state. And of course, we have the higher dropout rate. And they call this the path from school to prison, which I think they're kind of correct on how they're labeling this. And it's just sad because it's targeting the wrong people. CNN had an article with a kid. His name was Kyle Thompson. He was a freshman that was on the football team, 115 pounds, soaking wet. And I guess he had a list of kids that he wanted to tackle on the field, but he labeled it the hit list. His teacher caught wind of this note and she took it from him, and it landed him in handcuffs and ultimately led to him being expelled. He didn't do anything. He never threatened anyone. He just had a list of people that he wanted to tackle, which, if you understand football, of course, you're watching the competition. You're looking at, the people that you're like, oh, okay, it looks good statistically. And for him to be expelled his freshman year and taken out in handcuffs because the teacher felt like he was threatening is completely, what is the word that I'm looking for? It's bullshit. We're just going to call it what it is. It's bullshit. He was on house arrest for 8 months in isolation from his friends. And he said it changed him. He said he came out, his voice was different. He was a lot taller, a little heavier, and he felt like it is bullshit. Okay, but he definitely shouldn't have named it hit list, but that was also extreme. I think if you understand football, you get the connotation of it. Like, it's not, oh, I'm going to hit you, things like that. Hitting the aspect of on the field. But, I mean, I get it. And I honestly feel like the world has become a lot softer, so he shouldn't have been punished the way that he was. And because of the zero tolerance discipline that he had against him, it changed him. He ultimately felt like he didn't want to be looked at as a criminal, which he's not. He was worried about how his peers were going to receive him after that. And it's just been such a different world for him, going back and trying to, reacclimate himself. Well, he could have, but he didn't. But the punishment still didn't fit the crime. That's the whole point of them saying that, this is the whole school to prison situation. Hey, Micah, welcome. Definitely deserve more investigation and a quick reaction like that. I totally agree. There's no reason in the world for him as a freshman. Like, apparently they're saying you can look at the kid and see that he was still he was just a mild mannered kid. He didn't really bother anybody. He just made a list of people that he wanted to tackle. I don't think it's anything wrong with it. And of course, he's a kid. He's gonna speak the lingo that his generation speaks. So it's kind of messed up that he's being punished for that, and that is normally what happens to especially black kids, black boys more over than anything. They get dealt a harsher hand no matter what, whether their parents work at the school, no matter if they're straight A students, no matter what they're doing right, the little bit of wrong that they've done will get them punished harsher than anything else. And I don't know, I feel like there's got to be some kind of reform against it, but I'm sure there are plenty of people who are out there. But they said that, studies have shown that this type of reaction really doesn't do any good for anyone. They said in actuality, it does hurt more. Um, so, once he was on house arrest, they made him sign a confidentiality waiver saying that he wouldn't discuss the case outside to anybody, to the press, things like that, which I feel like is also bullshit. Like, so you punish my child for something that he did nothing wrong, and then you want me to be quiet about it. Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Like, how is that even possible? How do you feel like that's right? You're justified in that type of situation. But eventually he did end up at back school, and his parents did sue for racial discrimination because apparently there were other kids of other ethnicities. Hey, lady, welcome. Of other ethnicities that had similar list, and they weren't expelled for the situation. So yeah, that was definitely a sucky hand that was dealt to him. There was another one. There was another situation, I want to say it was in Detroit, where a 17-year-old senior, she was she's an honor roll student. She was taking AP classes, maintained a 3.0 or higher, throughout her entire high school career. And she took a lifeguard job at her local pool. But her grandfather, felt like because she was riding her bike from her neighborhood to the neighborhood where she had her lifeguard job, and some of the areas that she had to ride through were a little bit sketchy, he gave her a pocket knife. And she was telling him, I've never had anything happen to me. I don't think I need that. And she put it in her purse and didn't think anything of it. Forgot it was in there, and they did a random search at, it was her homecoming football game. And because she's not thinking anything of it, she just hands over her purse, and they found it in the bottom of her purse. Now that goes to show how much she's seen it, or how regularly she paid attention to it. She didn't even remember it was in there, or she probably wouldn't have handed the bag. She probably would have walked away, things like that. But she didn't. Unbeknownst to her, it was still in there when they did the search, and they arrested her as well on the spot. Well, with that arrest as well, no, not arrested, they detained her, but they suspended her for 180 days, which was the rest of her senior year. A lot of the kids that go through situations like this, they don't make it because you can't go to school. So how are you keeping up with your work? So it forces you to fall behind to where you can't keep up with the workload, and now you're not graduating on time, which is horrible. This is also a black girl. Her parents, went to the school board, and of course they wanted to have everything, reversed. Like, hey, she didn't even know it was in there. You guys didn't ask questions. It was just an automatic suspension for 180 days. I feel like that's excessive, and it's just too much. Like 180 days at the end of her senior year, like literally that's the rest of her senior year. So then they denied her and then decided they would expel her instead. So now you went from 180-day suspension to a full-blown expulsion. So now you're making it even harder for her and making her a statistic so where she can't graduate on time. So they could, they went and they hired a lawyer and they went back to fight it. And they decided while she's still expelled, she can take online classes so that way she can graduate with her class. But she can't participate in the ceremony. Over a pocket knife that she forgot about that was given to her for protection because anything could have happened to her. And this is okay because you have a policy in place. So while they think they're protecting the kids, who's protecting the kids from the people who think they're protecting our kids? That's what I want to know, because they don't care enough about the kids to look at logic over their stupid ass rules. And I'm pretty sure there are a lot more cases out there where people are going through zero tolerance policy situations. I know I've gone through some situations myself, but like in this school year, I feel like they don't give kids the room to be kids anymore. Now everything, they want them to sit and be seen and not be kids. We had a situation where it was almost like every other day the teacher was like, oh, we had an incident. And I'm like, well, what now? And it would be like, okay, well, that was nothing. Like, why are you telling me? Like, tell me when it's something really important. We had an incident once where, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, so why are you telling me? But there was an incident on the playground. Did anyone die? Okay. Well, he kicked a ball. Was it a kickball? Yes. Okay. So, one, it was a ball that you're supposed to kick. Tell me where the problem is there. Well, he kicked it too hard. Did it hit anyone? No. So it didn't hit anyone, but yet you still have a problem. But it hit a window. No, it went on the roof and hit the window. Did the window break? No. So what is the problem? Well, we need for him to learn how to kick the ball a little softer. Excuse me? You want a child who's still learning their own strength, might I add, to kick a kickball softer to appease you and your thoughts that kids are going to think like that. When I was growing up, we did some of the crazy, we would kick balls on purpose at each other to see the outcome. We're alive and we're fine. Yeah. Schools, this is what we deal with on a regular basis. And it feels like it's getting worse. It's getting excessive. And it gets to the point where you start feeling like these teachers are picking on your kid. And you're just like, what the hell? Or even situations where someone is antagonizing your child. And of course, it's like, I'm that parent that it's like, okay, the first time you walk away, maybe you go say something to somebody. But if it happens again, you have every right to react. My teacher got mad and asked my mom if I had a dad at home, because I always hung out with Nina. She got mad and asked, wow. No, that's pretty messed up. That's your sister. You're not allowed to hang out with your sister, like, first off. Second, what does a dad at home have to do with you hanging out with your sister? Maybe you like your sister. Some people do like their sisters. What is the problem? I hope your mom went off on her. I really hope she did, because that is complete bullshit as well. Like, I don't think these teachers really understand. And it's like, if we as Black people really start pushing back too, I think it will make a difference. And it is in how we push back as well, because a lot of it does have to be civilized. And that was my first reaction was to go off, but then I had to, calm myself and not do that. It was one of those where it's like, okay, let's think about the ration of it. Because now I'm hot. I'm like, what the hell is the problem with you as an adult that you can't decipher what needs to be punished and what doesn't need to be punished? Please. But there are kids that, antagonize other kids, and you want them to just walk away or be in fear of being suspended or expelled. I have a friend who pulled her kids out of school and put them in another school because her daughter was being bullied. And her daughter's very mild mannered. She's really sweet, not one for conflict. And she went to the school. She talked to the principal, let them know what was going on. They kept saying, oh, we're going to deal with it. Oh, we're going to deal with it. Nothing was happening. And then these girls cornered her in a bathroom of all places. Her daughter could have been hurt trying to run away from these girls. Anything could have happened. Thank goodness nothing did happen. But it's the fact that you notified the school, your daughter didn't do anything, and yet still nothing happened to the people that are antagonizing your child. But yet you have your bullshit zero tolerance policy in place that once this child defends herself, now she's going to be punished for something somebody else did to her and she reacted. Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of times when they send these handbooks home and you start reading the rules and you're just like, I don't even want to sign them anymore. Well, last year I didn't sign it. I didn't sign the handbook at all because I didn't agree. So that way, if anything did happen and they tried to say, well, no, I didn't, I never turned it in. And I went the whole school year without it being turned in, because you're not going to say, well, you knew the rules and you agreed to it. I don't agree to your rules. I do agree that my child will go to school, my child will behave, my child will respect you as the administrators, his teacher, things of that nature. But I do not agree with the fact that if somebody messes with my child and I tell you to deal with it, or my child says that this is what happened and you still don't deal with it and something else happens and he defends himself, we're not gonna deal with your repercussions, because guess what? Next thing you know, I'm gonna lawyer up, because it doesn't make sense. You're punishing the victim. And that's the part that I don't think they understand. And it's just happening. It's happening so much. And it's ridiculous. There was an incident when I was in school where some administration and teachers don't deserve respect. They don't, because they don't give it. I mean, hell, when my daughter was in school, so my son was, my oldest son was a bit of a behavior problem, and he would do things sometimes that were just like, okay. But because she was literally a grade behind him and would have some of the same teachers, they would judge her based off of him. So she had one teacher one year who, once he saw her last name and asked if that was her brother or if she was related to him, he immediately changed his whole tune with her. And she told me about the situation and said, hey, he's treating me like X, Y, and Z. And at first he was really nice to me, and now he's not, once he found out who my brother was. I had to go in there and talk to him, because it was like, you're not going to treat my daughter like shit because of, your previous interaction with another child who she's nothing like, or you're going to have to deal with me. Oh, no, that's not the case. It was, and he tried to say it was some incident where she got an attitude. Now, at that time, her attitude was nothing like that. So it was just like, I don't see that, but okay, if that's what your story is, just don't let it continue. And I don't know if did it get any better? I think it got better because she didn't say anything else, but it was one of those where she was automatically judged off of someone else that she was nothing like. And I feel like that's a big problem when it comes to having multiple kids who are close in age, and teachers are judging you. So it didn't get any better, around the same age. It's stupid. I can't remember what that man's name was, but what was his name? Hopefully she responds. But yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but it was kind of messed up. It was like, come on. But thankfully, none of the other teachers, did that to her. Mr. Downs, yes. The man was crazy. But by the end of the year, he knew my face and he didn't want no problems. So it is what it is. But no, I feel like some of these teachers have been jaded, after they've been in the school system for a while as well. And they don't handle situations with common sense either. And that's a big problem, that goes hand in hand with the tolerance crap. He had Downs. He has something going on with him. But he wasn't a nice guy in the beginning, and I had to step in and assert myself. But I just feel like they really need to get rid of this policy. And like I said, you do not have to sign that paper when they send home the handbook. Like I said, I totally did not, and his teacher kept reminding me, and I was like, oh no, I'm not signing that one. And I know it puzzled her as to why, which is, if she would have asked, I would have told her, but I didn't sign it. I probably will not sign it again next year because I don't agree with it. um it's just stupid. It's like, okay, can you at least I just don't feel like kids should be punished for things that aren't punishable reasons. And there are too many situations where parents, teachers just want to punish first and don't think about it later, and now they're upset that they've got parents screaming at them. I've seen parents at the school when I picked up my son before where they're going off like, well, he didn't do anything and all he did was defend himself. And I feel like if you're defending yourself, why are you even being punished? I feel like zero tolerance shouldn't be that. So once the child has either gone to a more extreme situation, then you're going to feel some kind of way about it. Oh, well, we would have worked with you. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You would have ignored it. And my child would have ended up in a situation where it could have been a little more dire. There was a kid, I want to say back in the early 2000s. He was in, I think, the third grade. Yeah, I think he was around the third grade. He was either I think he was in the third grade. He was really young. I know that. And he committed suicide because he was getting bullied at school. And he told his parents. His parents went to the school. They talked to teachers. They talked to the principal. Nothing was being done. He continued to be bullied. And this little boy went home from school and he hung himself. So imagine your kid's a latchkey kid back when this was okay to do. And you come home, you're calling your kid doesn't answer. You go into their room and this is what you see. All because your child is being bullied at school. There's this stupid zero tolerance policy. You've told the administration, your child has told the administration, they're still not doing anything about it, but yet they feel that their policy is more beneficial than this child is. Make it make sense. And I feel like I get a little emotional with things like this because you don't realize how it does affect a person's personality as well, having to go through stuff like this. And yes, kids are mean. It's just what it is. I think everybody is mean at some point. Like, everybody has a little mean in them. If they say they don't, then they're probably meaner than anybody else. But everybody has some mean in them. And sometimes you lash out, things like that. But if somebody is showing a constant behavior, that is just who they are as a person. And that's who they're going to be. And maybe you need to get rid of that person and not the person that's defending themselves. But who am I? I'm not a part of the administration, right? But I think, my advice to any parent that watches this, that is looking for some sort of avenue to help themselves when it comes to their kids, do not sign that page with the rules of the student handbook. What's the worst that can happen to you? You don't have to sign it. It's not like your kid's going to get kicked out of school. They need your kid more than you need them, to be completely honest, because guess what? That's how they get their funding. So don't sign it. Let them know why you're not signing it if they press you about the situation, but you legally don't have to sign that paper because you don't agree with it, which I will probably continue to not sign. But it's ridiculous. It's sad. And there are so many kids that are affected by this on a regular basis, and people want to blame social media, TV, YouTube, and it's like, no, it's not just that. It's happening in front of them. They don't need social media. You think that the bullying stops because they went home and they turned off their phone? No, because they know once they get to school the next day, it's gonna continue. You know, just being a kid now is cause to be kicked out of school. Like, you can't even be a kid. Like, and that's the part that makes it sad for this generation. Like, our generation was just free. We were happy. We were able to be kids. There wasn't any type of, I don't know, I just feel like it's a different generation. It's not the same anymore. It sucks to be a kid to an extent because it's always something going on, and the kids that need to be punished don't get punished, and that's the sad state of it. But you got to be strong for your kid because they can't do the defending themselves. That was a mouthful, and it really did. Take, like, I get mad and I try not to, and it's like channeling that anger in the right place is the part that I have to work on, because it's like I'm not trying to be mad at, the people that are closest to me, because it's like it's not their fault the situation happened. It's just me reacting, and I just don't like it. So this year, the first day of school, once, or even when they send, because now they do everything through Class Dojo. And I honestly kind of like it and hate it all at the same time, because like it's like almost like a text message. So it's just like, here we go again. What happened now? Here we go again. What happened now? And even, when it comes to kids having, like, it's okay for us to say, oh, I took off work because I needed a mental health day. Or you're at work and you're feeling lethargic. You're like, I just don't feel like doing this. And you kind of slack off that day. Kids aren't allowed to feel that. And that's the part that is mind-blowing to me, because as adults, we know if we feel it, they feel it too. Like, just because they're kids, that mean that they don't have, a mental load, that they need to sometimes let go of. And these teachers, they act like these kids are robots instead of human beings. Not all, but a good portion. Like I said, it's the teachers that have been tenured for many, many years versus the newer teachers that still have compassion towards kids, that are like, no, I'm going to work on it. And then sometimes when your kids are being kids, they will deem your kids, with these IEPs, and say they have behavioral issues, and now they're trying to say, oh, they may have ADHD or ADD. No, your child doesn't. Your kid is being a kid. Stop letting them put labels on your kids as well, because that makes it worse for them. And it kind of, it hinders them to an extent. So stop letting them label your kid whatever it is. Anytime they say that, go take them to an outside doctor and say, hey, I took them somewhere else that my insurance approved, and they don't have ADD, they don't have ADHD. It's starting to get ridiculous with how many kids have this now. But I think it's because they get more money from the state if your kid has some kind of disability. So just kind of watch out for that too. But I feel like if more parents talked about situations like this, then they would know how to tackle the situation as well, because that's the only way that our kids are going to get any type of help, is if we do it for them. Yeah, I'm gonna take a drink to that one. But yeah, hopefully we don't have anything else that happens for me personally. But I mean, if you guys have had any situations, I know Micah shared one where he had a situation with a stupid teacher. Naya, you have anything with your baby that's happened? Lady, your baby's too little yet. You haven't had anything. But I mean, you've got nieces and nephews, so maybe they've encountered something like that. But it's definitely, and if you're watching the replay, go ahead and comment on the matter as well. Let me know if you've gone through anything like that, because I do respond. So I will gladly keep the conversation going in the comments. But yeah, I don't know. That one was a touchy one for me, and I almost didn't do it because it is such a touchy subject. But it's, I don't know, it just kind of it infuriates me a little bit when I think about it, because we're letting innocent kids be punished over nonsense. Like I say, F them bullies. Tell your kids to defend themselves and have their back, because they cannot defend themselves. And that's the sad part. Or they become labeled when they talk back to the teacher like, I didn't do that. And that's sad too, because then if you're not going to listen to them and you're basically there for all those hours with them, then what is the point in you being there? I don't know. I know what I know, and that's what I know. But I am going to go ahead and sign off, and I'll be back next week with a new wine, different topic, hopefully a little more lighthearted. I'm gonna go lighthearted next week. Aw, that's so sweet. So my baby asked for one of the glasses. Look at her. And there's my dogs. Aw, little baby over here watching me and drinking out of her glass. That's so sweet. But yes, cheers, Micah. Cheers to everybody that joined me this week. Again, I will see you next week. Don't forget to hit the like button before I sign off. I'm going to finish this glass. I'm not pouring anymore, so. I don't know. It's the aftertaste. I don't know. It's something weird about it. But definitely not one of my favorites. But you guys have a good night, a good rest of the week. Stay strong. It is already Wednesday. We have 2 more days, and then it is the weekend, and you can have a little fun, blow off a little stress, and get ready to do it all over again. But have a good night, everybody.